What's up, kiddos? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Get to Know Me Better Tag Part 2. Basically, this is just a bunch of questions that I ask myself, so maybe you guys learn a couple of new things about me, and it's a way for me to talk to you and connect on a deeper, more meaningful level than just me sitting here telling you a sad story from my childhood. Let's keep this fun train rolling, shall we? Let's start it off real hot. Favorite show on Netflix. I'm watching The Witcher right now. I'm rewatching What's New Scooby-Doo. Those are two of the real big ones. Still getting used to Henry with long hair. Hey, it works. Show us your songs tab on Spotify. I do not have a Spotify. I buy all of my songs through iTunes still because I'm old. What is the craziest thing you have done? I definitely wrecked both of my ankles jumping over a fire pit when I was like 13 to impress a girl. My father afterwards asked me what I learned from the experience, and I said in point blank range, girls are more trouble than they're worth. And he laughed in my face and told me that that is absolutely correct, but there's a second part to that statement. And I went, what's that second part? And he goes, they may be more trouble than they're worth, but we want them anyways. And goodness gracious, is that an accurate statement? Describe your first crush. I'm gonna go male and female because I am bi. My first male crush was Prince. I think it was Eric from The Little Mermaid. I just thought he was a dreamboat, which is funny because he's literally one of the most useless princes that Disney has ever shat out. My first female crush was a young woman who I've known since pre-K. And goodness gracious, there was a lot of drama that went on with that because we were two children that watched fanciful movies. What theme parks have you been to? I've been to both Disney, Orlando, and LA. I've been to Universal. I went to Harry Potter World last year with Anna and one of her friends, Reagan, and had an absolute blast. I got picked for my wand and I openly left in front of strangers. I also went to this really great one called Mother Goose Fairy Tale Land. I can't remember what it was. I went with my Nana and my great aunt Jean. That was hysterical. I mean, the Champlain Valley Fair in Vermont is about as exciting as we get as far as that kind of stuff goes. I've been to a couple. I'm not fun to take to amusement parks though. I'm afraid of fast moving, very up in the air rides. So I'm basically the guy that holds your bag, but I'll go on the lazy river like 12 times in a row. Who is your childhood best friend? In this last one, my first best friend is a friend by the name of Dakota. Childhood best friend, it's a toss-up between three. I have a buddy named Siraj, and then specifically like late middle school, early high school, I was part of a trio with two of my best buds, Taylor and Chris. The three of us took high school by storm and wreaked havoc. What is your favorite genre of film and why? I'm a big thriller person. I'm a big mystery person. I like not knowing. I'm one of those people that I try and analyze where things are going and where things are going to end up. So not knowing is kind of comforting because if you can guess the end of a movie, then it's not fun. What is your dream job as a kid? As a kid, I wanted to go into one of two things. I either wanted to be a dog trainer or I wanted to be law enforcement. I wanted to be a policeman. Two very different things, but at the same time, if I decided to get a canine unit as a cop, best of both worlds. What is your coffee order? Water, because I can't drink coffee, not even decaffeinated. It's partially due to the fact that caffeine makes me lose my marbles. Secondly, coffee makes my stomach a little not great. And third, I've never tasted a coffee and been like, oh, this tastes nice. I'm not big on taste. What is your favorite thing to order on Uber Eats? Well, I live out in the middle of the boonies, so I don't get Uber Eats. I would probably order from McDonald's or Denny's and just get like a burger or something if I could, but I don't get Uber Eats out where I am, and it's very sad. Well, it's also a blessing in disguise though, because if I could have food delivered to my house, I'd never leave my home, and I would also spend a lot more money than I do. Have you moved from home? Where and how was the experience? I've moved out temporarily numerous times and then moved back in. The longest I have ever been away from home was a couple of months, about 3 years ago. Have you ever failed at anything, and what did you learn? I've failed hard at most of the instruments I've tried to pick up, and I've learned that my discipline is not nearly as good as I thought it has been. I've been playing baritone ukulele for a bit though. I've always been able to smash power chords or chords on a piano, but I really want to start getting good at stuff so I can give more on my music channel. Izzy Gray Music, go subscribe. How many countries have I traveled to? I've been to Canada, I've been to Africa, I've been to Tanzania specifically. Those are the two big ones. I've been to every state that the US has to offer, but I haven't left the country very often. Who is your celebrity crush? Currently, Chloe Grace Moretz, excuse me. I think she's absolutely wonderful. I think she's just a gem of a human being. She's beautiful, she's talented, she's intelligent. She's played characters who creep me out. She's played characters I've fallen in love with. She's played characters that I've hated. And I genuinely appreciate the dexterity that some actors have. Male celebrity crush currently, it's a toss-up between Tom Hardy and Jason Momoa. Don't get me wrong, Aquaman is not my favorite movie. In the context of it standing alone as its own film, I thought it was pretty decent. Tom Hardy, again, is just a very versatile character, and I've always appreciated that about him. Do you have any pets? Show them. My family has a singular dog. She's this little 12-pound yipper named Opal. I don't call her Opal. I call her Pygmy or Tapuki. When she is a little gem, she's also very annoying because she's never gone to obedience school, so she's not the best behaved. Yeah, so that's her. What are your pet peeves? People who are genuinely rude, people who are genuinely mean, people who pass judgment just because people think differently than them. If someone doesn't think the same as you, our genuine knee-jerk reaction is to get defensive and to get aggressive. And I feel like so many of the world's problems between races, cultures, religions could be at least agreed to disagree upon in a healthy manner if people were willing to just simply sit down and have a conversation instead of try to convert someone's brain, change how someone thinks, or tell someone that they're wrong. Just because it's not constructive. It doesn't do anything except create arguments and drive wedges between friends, families, cultures, countries. What do I do in my free time? I'm doing YouTube right now. With everything that's going on, a lot of it's YouTube based. I'm writing, I'm doing scripting, I'm writing music, editing videos. That's probably the longest part of all of this. Filming, creating, coming up with new ideas. I actually started writing a book. Who knows if it'll ever see the light of day. I'm proud of it. We're going on walks with the family dog, or like hanging out with my parents or on it. Do you have any weird quirks? So many. If it gets too quiet around me, I just will make a random noise. Like if it gets too quiet, I'll just go, yeah, because silence makes me uncomfortable. I mean, it's not even a quirk. I have back spasms every once in a while. There are some days where my back is just twitchy. Could be how I slept. Could be the fact that I worked a very hard and strenuous day and I'm in pain. That's less of a quirk and more of just a physical ailment that I have to deal with. I mean, I like to dance randomly and goofy in public, because I genuinely am a stickler for growing old is mandatory, growing up is optional. And I don't think you can get through this life, especially in the world that we live in right now, without being a little weird and being a little quirky. So you guys could probably name a couple in the comments like you've seen in previous videos at this point. What is my favorite color? Gray, closely followed by silver, closely followed by white and black, which is a very, very boring palette. It's most of my wardrobe, as I say, rocking the navy blue shirt. Do I have any siblings? Yes. I have a younger brother named Michael, and I have siblings in my birth family as well. Do you know your personality type? What is it? I don't know the exact letters. I know that I am a debater. I took that Myers-Briggs test last year and was very, very proud of what it says about debaters. Apparently, I'm willing to see things from many angles. I'm very confident, very forward. The only issue that I have with that is somebody who's also viewed as a debater is the Joker from the Batman franchise. And being associated with him is not the greatest feeling in the world, because he happens to be not a very nice person. Have you been to any concerts or festivals? Which were the most memorable? I have been to 2 concerts, 3 in my entire life. I've seen Pentatonics twice, and I went and saw Avi last year. I cried at all 3 because Pentatonics is a phenomenal group of musicians who do a phenomenal job, have done a phenomenal job helping put a cappella back on the map. And Avi Kaplan obviously is an incredible musician who genuinely puts everything into his music, heart, soul, mind, all of it. What are your favorite values in friends? Loyalty, kindness, thoughtfulness, foresight, and weird. I have very few friends that are what people would deem as normal. My friend group is a weird, eclectic group of people. I might have a couple of them on just so you can meet my friends and see how our dynamic is. My parents always indulged my weird antics and always really encouraged me to just they're just stay weird, but stay you. Don't ever change for anybody, which is something I really appreciated and I loved my parents for. What is one thing you wished people knew about me? Right off the cuff, I think it would just get it out of the way if people knew I was bi, because it tends to floor people a bit. I guess I don't really look like somebody who would appreciate a romantic gallivant with a strong, tall, muscular, tattooed man. And even friends have been kind of really? And I'm just yeah. And I'm just yeah, I guess I really don't tell people. I don't have anything remotely like a come out story. My parents knew, my siblings knew from a very young age. My close friends back when I was in school knew. So I didn't feel the need to go around to being I'm this and you can deal. I am lucky enough to have a core base of very, very supportive friends and family who have always been yeah, cool, great, do you. Also just apologize straight out the gate. I'm just I'm weird, I'm sorry. There is definitely an aspect of my personality that a lot of people don't sign up for. I'm very passionate about some things that a lot of people don't care about. There's just little quirky, weird things that people are just why is this a problem? Why are you upset? What social media are you addicted to? YouTube, if it counts, very closely followed by Instagram. I I use Instagram to keep track of celebrities and friends, so I'm on it every single day. It's quite shameful. I very rarely post anything though. How do you get along with your family? Pretty well. Me and my father, most of our relationship is just based off the fact that we both love to laugh and we both love joking around. One of the biggest things that I'm hoping to do someday is genuinely have a dynamic where me and my father both discuss what for him it was like to raise an African American son, and for me how it was to be raised by a Caucasian dad. My mother and I have a very, very good relationship as well. She is where I get a lot of my sympathy and empathy from. She genuinely taught me growing up that being kind goes a long way. They also both taught me not to take crap and to keep negativity out of your life. Things happen and life sucks sometimes, but at the same time, a portion of it is within your control to cut out things and people who aren't benefiting you. My younger brother Michael, who was adopted by Teresa and Michael, my parents as well, he and I do not have the greatest relationship right now. Two boys who obviously had a bunch of problems growing up, took out a lot of our angers and frustrations out on each other, have said a lot of very, very mean things. And what is the biggest struggle I overcame? Getting dumped and having it be 100% my fault. Like, I've been dumped, but like I found like something about the other person where I was just like, well, yeah, but I dodged a bullet. The relationship I had before Anna was about 2 years and change, and I was genuinely awful to her. I had just come out of high school. I wasn't doing a whole lot with my life. I was anxious. I was upset. I'm an extrovert, so I don't like being alone. And she went off to college right after she graduated high school. So there was a lot of pressure on my part for her to spend time with me. I wasn't kind. I lied a lot. I was just not. The 17-year-old Izzy had no business being with anybody, and I genuinely hurt her. She finally put her foot down and said she'd had enough. She didn't care if she never saw me again. I spent a lot of time being upset about that. If things do end, do your darndest and do your absolute best to make sure that when things do end, it is a mutual, this isn't working, instead of a you were horrible to me, because it is a grief and a regret that I will carry for most of the rest of my life, because above all else, I lost a friend and one of the better women I've known in my life. That's one of the biggest struggles I had to overcome, was a huge amount of swallowing my pride and genuinely like going to therapy, bettering myself, working through my issues, and coming out the other end stronger and better. Who is your role model? Avi Kaplan, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, my parents, both sets of grandparents, and a young man who I was friends with in high school, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but we all called him Tunk. He was genuinely one of the better men I've known, and they've all taught me great things about life, music, laughter, humility. You are going out with your friends. Describe the night: bar hopping and Long Island iced teas, because I am a basic bitch. Pardon my language. Most of the time when I get together with friends, we usually go out, get food, go do something like weird or wacky, like go axe throwing or go like, I don't know, karaoke, and usually there is some form of alcohol involved. I do not drink very heavily. I'll only drink if I'm with company, because drinking by yourself I know myself well enough to know that might develop into a very, very serious problem. But yeah, I love spending time with friends. Karaoke is probably one of my favorite things to do with my friends. It's just us having fun, being goofy, seeing if you can make us laugh, and yeah, it's a great thing. What are you happiest with in your life? That my parents as a whole raised me to be incredibly self-aware of who I am as a human being, and the fact that I'm very, very good at being open and honest about how I'm feeling, and being very open and honest about what I think and my opinions on things, and being able to form them in a very calm and collective manner. I grew up with a lot of screaming and shouting and fighting in my house. Never anything physical. It's just 4 people in the house, raising 2 boys that were very, very hard to raise. It was stressful for my parents, and me and my brother were pains in the asses, and we didn't want to listen. So there was a lot of screaming and arguing between the 4 of us. And it's resulted in somebody who hates argument and conflict and would rather just sit down and have a constructive conversation. So that's one of the happiest things I am. I'm very, very self-aware of my emotions. I can't think of the last time I've genuinely lost my temper. That's not saying I'm a saint. I have gotten angry. I get angry and frustrated all the time. But the genuine like yelling, screaming, swearing thing is something that I've truly never really, like, I haven't indulged in that in years. And that's something I'm happy about and I'm proud about. So this is the end of Get to Know Me Part 2. Questions were a little more in depth than part one. Hope you guys didn't get too bored learning a bit about me. Very, very excited to announce that there's new stuff coming up. There's a bunch of nerd stuff. It's Overwatch themed, D&D, Pokemon. Follow me on all forms of social media. Go support me over on Patreon if you like what you see and want me to make even more of stuff. I'm trying to get up to 1 video a week, see if we can get that to 2. At the rate that I'm going and all of the ideas for having this channel, I might have to do 3. But that takes time, and it takes time away from my job, so I need the support and financial stability to be able to do that. So if you guys want to go over there, support me on Patreon, there's Patreon exclusive content over there now. So please feel free to go check that out. Thank you again so much to my girlfriend, Anna, who is a sounding board and critic for absolutely everything I do on this channel. She is also the chief editor. I'm learning as fast as I can, but I doubt I will ever be as good as she is. And until next time, you kids know the drill. Be good, and if you can't be good, be safe. And if you can't be safe, make sure that after all the dust is cleared, that they've named something after you. Until next time, kiddos. Bye!